everybody? Welcome back to Messy on Purpose. I'm Heather.
And Felicia.
And so we have a topic that I've been wanting to talk about. Felicia doesn't even
I
know
don't even know what it is.
She has no clue what
But
I'm
I love
about to
talking,
drop
so it's
on
fine.
her.
Let's go.
So for me, when I'm getting ready in the mornings and stuff, I don't have TikTok and I don't really watch Instagram reels, mostly because they're all like hair on my page. So when I'm on Facebook, the reels will be coming up. And because of, going through a divorce, being in a relationship, it's always relationship stuff that pops up. And you have the guy influencers that'll give advice to guys, um, some of it is very beneficial, some of it is complete bull crap. But lately, and I'm like, why is all this crap coming up for me? Because I'm not following these females, but there are specifically 3 different females that their whole intention of their videos is like teaching women how to get men that have money. Like, this is how you target men that have money. This is the way you should be responding to people. And I'm not going to name any names, and maybe I am old school on this, but I also am raising a daughter, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is the knowledge that people are pushing out to our young women, and just some.
And this is why you don't see love like you did. You
Love
know what
is
I mean?
Like a foreign concept.
You see people 90 years old in love. Like, I
Yes.
seen the cutest old couple. She was
Like,
all
holding
hunched
hands.
over and
Yes.
he was opening the door. It was so cute.
Oh, yes.
And that's what I want.
Yes.
That's
I saw it the other day. It was a couple at the park, and she was moving very slowly, and she was short and like hunched over, and he was so. And I was like, that is
just
a
makes my
different
heart so warm.
generation of
Yes.
people where you found people that you connected with, and if you wanted to build your wealth, you were building that with somebody that you loved. You weren't looking for somebody because of what they had to offer you.
Well, everyone's got these checklists now,
Yes.
and that's number one.
Yes.
I want a guy with money, so
Yes.
that way he can buy me cars
And I'm going to
purses
tell, I got
and-
so offended that I was literally talking back to my phone because this one, like I said, there's 3 specific people, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to name their names, but they piss me off. Like, as a female, I get pissed off watching this stuff because I'm like, and we wonder why guys are
makes
talking
me
bad
sick.
about us as females and thinking all females only care about money, blah, 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 because this is the stuff that's being pushed out there. But she was like, somebody asked her for advice on what if your man's not providing for you, like he has money. Now, we're talking about somebody you're dating.
Mhm.
This man should be paying your mortgage. He should be paying your car payment, blah, blah, blah. And if he isn't, it's because you look a certain way. And I was like,
I'd like to point out the fact that I know I could go out and find somebody who would pay for my car payment, pay for my mortgage. I could do that.
okay,
I'm
sorry,
very, very
is
confident
that-
in the fact that I can.
Is that
But
love?
why would you want that? You have no connection with
It's
that
a
person.
transaction at that
Yes,
point.
you are giving sex
Mhm.
for money.
It's a transaction.
That's exactly what that is. And I don't care how you look at it, that's exactly what it is. And you're feeding into 2 different mind frames here. You have the women that want to not work and not do anything, and they want the man to provide all of this stuff. But then we also aren't making men be men.
Mhm.
And then on top of it, now you have the men that want a female to look a certain way, have certain qualities, and be a certain way that you don't even want to be. Like, how many of these women who want a sugar daddy actually have wife qualities?
Well,
I'm
I'm
just
sorry
saying.
to judge, but if you're determining listen,
What do you
you're
provide?
giving advice telling women you need to have this man paying your car payment, you need to have this man paying your mortgage, this man paying your utilities. I'm sorry, I have sons. If I found out they were dealing with a female who was having multiple men pay her different bills, I would be like, leave her.
I do that with my male
Goodbye.
friends.
Like,
no.
so you have men just on a roster paying your bills for you while you make videos telling other female.
And here's the deal with these women. So, and I don't care if you are this woman. I know for a fact you do not have the qualities to be a wife. You don't bring anything to the table but your vagina
And the way you look.
now I use the word.
Sorry, it's the medical term.
But like, regardless, you're not bringing anything but sexual favors to a guy. That is it. That's the only quality you have. Because if you had the other qualities, you would want a real relationship. You would want love. You would want a connection.
Yeah.
Because when you're in that connection, you want to serve your man. Mm-hmm. You do. You want to make dinner. You want to do the things around the house. You want to do little things that make his life easier because he is providing the financial side to it. And that is a traditional thing.
Like relationship.
Yes. But being with a man solely on the fact that, oh, he makes enough money to make me happy.
No, I'm telling you, I'm going to send you some of these videos because I feel like when I get in my mood where I just want to like go off on somebody, I watch these videos and I just go off. Like I have dialogue because there was one and she was like, okay, so people will ask these females questions and it was like, what do I do if I have a man that's not wanting to pay my bills? Find you an ugly man because ugly men will pay your bills. And I was like, what are we doing right now? Like, I'm sorry. It may be true for some people, like some of the advice that they're giving out and stuff, but like, first of all, you're talking about if they're ugly, they'll pay your bills. Women, if you don't have a man paying your bills, it's because you don't look good enough. Like, we're so caught up with physical appearance because you can be as beautiful as they come, but when you have such a disgusting, nasty attitude, it takes away from the beauty that you have on the outside. And when you're looking at a man as a wallet instead of a person with feelings, and you're like, if he's ugly, go find you an ugly man. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you even know what love is? Like, I feel like these women that are giving this advice have no clue what love is.
And I can tell you right now, if you have love, materialistic things don't even matter. All you want is that connection because you literally thrive off of a connection like that.
Listen, money is nice to have where you're comfortable and you don't have to worry about your bills being paid and having stability and stuff like that. But I would trade $1 million to have somebody in my corner that I know is going to be there for me every day and is going to be side by side with me in a struggle.
The things you should be looking for in a man is, one, obviously a connection. You have to emotionally be able to connect with him. It should be, yes, he should be a provider, 100%. But that doesn't mean
more than financial.
That doesn't mean fancy purses and nice cars. That means he provides a roof over your head. He provides for your children.
He provides emotional stability.
Yes. And then you provide the love and the nurturing side.
Yep.
And when you're just in it for materialistic things, none of that's provided on either end, and it is a disaster that's going to blow up.
I'm telling you, I'm like gobsmacked every time one of these videos come on.
See, back to hate. I literally hate people like that.
It is disgusting to me because I see, I'm working with women every single day. A lot of them are younger women. They're teenagers. They're in their 20s. They're coming in. I know a lot of them spend time on TikTok, Instagram, and these are things that are being pushed on TikTok and Instagram because I'm not just going to call out the women. There are very misogynistic, like, male things, too, like MGTOW, men go their own way, where they're teaching them how to treat women poorly for the women to like them more. Like, it's so toxic, the things that are being pushed out to our young people. Like, hey, boys, treat girls like crap, and they're going to like you more. Hey, girls, only look for the money that a guy's going to spend on you because love doesn't really matter. Like, this is what we're wondering why our divorce rates are so high and why people aren't even getting married anymore.
It's because of the quality of people. It's who you are. It's you attract what you put out there. And the reason a lot of relationships don't work nowadays is because people are just shitty people.
Yeah.
Crappy people. My
But
bad, I
then
didn't mean to cuss. But,
you have that messaging coming through where it gets into your head and it's subliminally like, yeah, we talked about this on the Valentine's thing, like, oh, her man's, buying her this and that, and like maybe my man doesn't love me as much. Bullshit. Bullshit.
yeah, I don't understand it, and I've never been able to understand it.
No.
And I know people call us old school because we
Mhm.
think this way, but it's not old school, it's the right way.
Yeah.
I don't care who gets offended by that, but if you're in it for the wrong reasons, then it's never going to work.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is, because we, as a human race, we are meant to interact a certain way, and we've taken a lot of that away, and we've put materialistic things at the top of our list and
Priority list.
yeah, and it just doesn't
And
make
here's the
any sense.
newsflash: money comes and goes. There are millionaires that have something happen where all their money is gone.
Easily.
The money is gone. What do you have left?
Oh, and
like,
then you just go find another one,
I
another
guess.
pointless
I
relationship.
guess. Like, if that's your mentality, I want somebody in my life that I'm excited to wake up to them every morning. And it doesn't matter if we have $100 or $100 million. We're going to have fun with each other. We're going to enjoy each other. We love each other. We want to be with each other. That's the kind of relationship I want. I don't care if you work at freaking McDonald's, but you're doing the best that you can do working at McDonald's, because you're going to go up from there if you're giving it your all. Now, if you're lazy and you have no excuse and you just aren't providing anything in any way,
But that's
that's one thing.
characteristic that you can see,
Yeah.
and you chose to be with that person.
Yes.
If you decided that I'm going to date this guy, he's fun to be around, and then he decides one day, I'm not going to work this job anymore, and then I'm just going to be a bum on your couch, and you're going to
Yeah.
pay for all the bills, and I'm just going to complain on how many hours you work and
Yeah,
why you're
then
not
how
home
much
with
money-
me, and make you go get me dinner and all that stuff.
You might not
That's
have
a
as
freaking
much
bum.
fun with them anymore.
Yeah.
Because you're like stressed out from having to work and stuff.
And guess what? You don't have to stay in that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You work on yourself, you improve yourself, and then you go find, not even go find, I would say you attract
Yeah.
the right person.
Mm-hmm.
And although it might take longer than expected, which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're still searching for that perfect person,
Mm-hmm.
but it'll come
Mhm.
at the right time when you're ready for it.
I'm not searching for anything.
Okay. Well,
I
she
am
ain't gonna say
working-
no if the perfect man walks
Listen,
in your
I'm
life.
working
just
on
saying.
myself because I feel like if I'm healed and I'm everything I need to be, then I am ready to share that with somebody else. And at the end of the day, when I am ready to share my life with somebody else in that manner, and I may sound stupid for saying this, but I don't care what their bank account looks like. I care what type of man they are. Are you bringing peace into my life? Are you mentally and emotionally stable? Are you helping me in ways that, because I can do this stuff on my own. I've been doing it on my own. I take care of myself. I take
But the
care
point
of my
it
kids.
isn't necessarily for him to come in and fix things, right?
No,
the
it's
point is
just
to
be
come in and
a
share.
helpmate.
You're sharing, not even
Yes.
help. You're sharing a life together. You're building a life together. Even after you have gone through, you've became the person that you want to be. You've grown your business. You've checked all your boxes.
Mhm.
You meet that right person. It's not because you need them to improve your life. It's because you want to build a life with them.
When I say helpmate, that is literally the biblical term for a spouse, because when you come together with another person and you're in a relationship like that, it's not just two people anymore. It's two people becoming one, which means I'm carrying your burdens, you're carrying my burdens, we're carrying them together. It's me and you against the world. I don't expect you to come into my life and pay for everything for me, take care of me, do everything for me. I want to add to your life and you add to my life so we have a beautiful life together. If I have more than you do or you have more than I do, when we're coming together, that's ours now. And I'm not the type of person that's looking for somebody to come sweep me off my feet and take care of me for the rest of my life. If that happened and that's what God sent my way, so be it. But I won't be picking a man based off of his bank account. It would never happen. And so for me, every time I see that advice pop up, it makes me so
Well, a
angry.
relationship, it's hard to even say it's 50-50 because it's
Mm-hmm.
not. Sometimes it's
80,
80-20.
20,
And
10, 90.
yeah, and every day is something to work
Yeah.
towards and work through. And it's not easy building a relationship.
Mhm.
It's really not. And if you're not willing to put in the work, if you're not willing
Yeah.
to communicate, and I've talked about this before, but I mean, it wasn't easy in the beginning with Justin. Like,
Mhm.
both of us, I shut down. He wanted to talk things through right away, and
Mhm.
I'm not ready for that. And now I feel like it flipped.
Yeah.
a
That
little
happens.
bit. But
That
like,
happens in relationships.
and like it's just learning how each other works and our little quirks.
and-
Yeah, like all of us go through things growing up
Mhm.
that we have habits and we have things that kind of molded into us that we need to work through, that we need to improve. And you're growing every day you're a little different, right?
Mhm.
If you're working towards something. I mean,
Mhm.
some people aren't. And like some relationships too, I mean, you have somebody working on bettering themselves and somebody that's not, and they end up going different ways.
Mhm.
And that's okay too. But like, if you're in it for just the money,
Mhm.
it's with no love.
I listen, that is
That's-
great relationship advice, and I agree with you 100%. I think I'm more focused on the fact that this is the advice that they're giving to people to find people, not even to cultivate a relationship. But if you're looking for a man or you're looking for a woman, these are the things you do, like the MGTOW for the men go their own way. It's like, um, tell a woman she looks ugly or that somebody else looks better than her. Ignore her for 3 days. Like it's stupid. It's stupid. If you're having to get
I don't
somebody's
even see these
attention
videos.
by playing games with them to manipulate their mind into liking you more, that relationship is never going to work, first of all, because women are emotional. So you might catch them on the hook for a little while because you're playing games with them, but most women are going to get tired of that. Now, for the women, I'm talking about this advice is so shitty, and I'm sorry that I keep cussing, but this stuff pisses me off.
So you keep talking about the advice, but you haven't really gave any examples.
I'm going to give you an example now. Like, one of the girls was like, "What if I want a guy to take me to a fancy restaurant? He doesn't have enough money for that." She's like, "You go to the restaurant, you pick out what you want on the menu, no matter how much it is, and you tell him, I want the filet and I want some champagne." And if he's like, "I don't have enough for that," you look at the gentleman to the table next to you and be like, "Sir, would you mind paying for my meal because he can't afford it?"
If I seen that, I would slap her. I'm not even kidding.
Alicia!
You think I'm kidding? If I seen that in person, I would slap her.
I legit, the amount of, I don't want to say rage, but just like disgust that I feel about this kind of advice being given. So you're going to publicly shame somebody and try to embarrass him so that he'll then agree to pay. Because that was her advice, was if you ask the gentleman, "Sir, would you mind paying for my meal because he doesn't have enough to cover me?" He will pay for your meal. I don't know what kind of guys you're going out with. Maybe it's because I'm from Mississippi, but if I was sitting, I'm sorry, I find it comical because I can picture guys that I know having a woman be like, "Sir, can you pay for my meal?" It would not end up with him paying for whatever.
I don't
she
think that
wanted.
ever works. I don't know where you go to even have that happen. If you went somewhere not even with a dude and were just like to a random guy like, "Hey,
would you pay for my
can you
meal?
pay for my meal?" Like,
no.
how about no?
I'm here with my wife.
Or like, even if he was by himself,
What makes you presume that a man wants to pay for your meal because you look pretty without there being some transaction possible?
I'm sorry, the dudes that would do that are the dudes in their mom's basement being creeps online. You know what I mean? Like, just get an OnlyFans.
They probably wouldn't be at the restaurant.
Guess what? If you get an OnlyFans and just get naked on camera, they'll just pay you.
My thing is, like,
it just sounds like a lot of work for nothing.
Not only that, I am very big on how you make other people feel. And the fact that you would want to publicly shame somebody into paying for something that you want because you're being a bitch and ordering something high ticketed on them. I don't see, this is where I think I'm old school again, is like when I was raised and I would go out on a date with somebody, I wasn't the type that would order the most expensive thing on the menu. I tried to be mindful that I'm on a first date with somebody. We don't know how this is going to go. We don't know if we're going to like each other. I'm not going to like order the most expensive thing on the menu. I'm going to order something that's reasonable. Like, I don't know how much money somebody has. I'm not going to presume that they're expecting to spend that much money on me.
Girl, my first date, I ordered a cup of soup because it was the cheapest thing on the menu. That's what I'm saying. Like, not even kidding.
As just being a decent person. And then if I did say to somebody, hey, is it okay if I get blah, blah, blah? And they were like, I just don't have that much. Never in a million years would it cross my mind to be like, sir, can you pay? I'm telling you the ire that I feel when I see these videos, because I'm like,
to me, I just don't get it. For one, that's a lot of work for materialistic things that you can just sell yourself on a camera at that point and just do it on OnlyFans or do porn or something. I mean, at that point.
Or just work your ass off at a regular job and pay for your own stuff.
But like, if that's the life you want to live, like, why wouldn't you just choose the other route if you're pretty enough, on quote unquote? Like, at least on camera, and when you're behind the computer screen, they don't know your ugly personality.
I'm saying, I was like, God, I must be hideous because I work my ass off. I don't think I'm the prettiest girl to ever come along, but for me to, in my mind, get to the point that I think because the way I look, people should pay for everything for me in life, I would rather be hideous on the outside and have a beautiful inside than feel that I'm beautiful on the outside and be that ugly where I'm not only comfortable with shaming other people and making them feel bad, but giving advice to other people that they should shame people and make them feel bad.
I just don't know why you'd want to do that.
Embarrass somebody because they don't want to pay that much for you.
Yeah.
I think we all remember what happened when that woman went viral about the Cheesecake Factory because she didn't want to go eat at the Cheesecake Factory. Did you not see it? It was everywhere. This was a little while back. The guy picked the girl up and took her for the date, and he took her to Cheesecake Factory, and she went live and was like, oh, he's trying to bring me to the Cheesecake Factory, blah, blah, blah. And people were like,
was she from, like...
You're crazy.
Was she, like, from California or something? Because I feel like the Cheesecake Factory in the Midwest, that's a high-end...
I like going to the Cheesecake Factory. Maybe
I've only been there, like, once, but... I think it was, like, only in Chicago.
I think the fact that... Because I'm very much the type, like, I was raised traditional, but when I'm in a relationship, I also like to treat my man. I like to take him out and do stuff with him, too. Like, I don't think it's just his job to pay for everything. But if a man is taking you out on a date and you're agreeing to it because you like him and you think there's potential there, he's spending his money on you. Like, I don't know. I guess, like, I'm a beer budget girl. I don't get. So, I've been to, like, I mean, I told you about that one place, the Bizarre Meats or whatever. Like, man, I'm gonna have to get food after this. Well,
and it was so expensive. Like this big. It was like half my rent in one dinner, and it was just like nothing. And
wouldn't you rather have an experience with that money than spending that? Like, take me to get a really good, like, cheeseburger and let's go have fun.
So it was a very unique experience, I'll say that. But most fancy restaurants to me are not even that good. I can make a better steak at home.
I'm telling you, when I go to eat and the food is like this big and it's all weird and like...
Oh, I hate it when it's small portions.
Yes, like, now I'm going to have to eat after this and you just spent all this money on this food. Like, I don't... We digress.
It's just, I like quality and I like quantity.
And I feel like if I can give my little piece of advice, because I am raising teenagers and young adults, like when somebody is spending their money on you, you should be respectful and appreciative of it. I don't care if they're taking you, like my 15-year-old, gotta love him, AJ, his first little date that he had with a girl at school, he had her meet him at Starbucks and he bought her a drink. I can tell you, had she acted like some of the advice that's being given on these videos, I would have been like, AJ, give my card, let's go. I think you should appreciate and be respectful. That doesn't mean you ever have to go out on a date with the person again. Like, you went somewhere with them, you didn't like them, you didn't vibe, whatever. Thank you very much for.
What I don't get is, wouldn't you rather have someone's respect? Like, I would
would-
rather have a man respect
Yeah.
me than give me items or pay for fancy dinners and then just, like, have zero respect for you.
I would rather have a man love me
That
than
too.
provide for me.
That-
Because
the
I feel
love
like
thing is
the
a
love
big
is
deal.
the umbrella that if they love you, if a man loves you, he's going to provide for you. He's going to protect you. He's going to take care of you. Like, it all starts with the love. So, no, I'm not looking for somebody's paycheck or for them to provide for me. I'm looking for a man to love me, because then all those things will follow. Just the same with women. If we love a man, we will respect him. We will do all the things that go along with the love. But I'm telling you,
My husband doesn't make millions of dollars. But I can tell you right now, if he worked at freaking McDonald's, I would still be with him, and
That's
that
what
wouldn't
I'm
change
saying, is
anything
like-
because I love him and I love our relationship, and he loves me more than anyone has ever loved me
Yeah.
in my entire life.
and that's more than any monetary value.
Yeah.
I think about it like we've talked about on the podcast, me and you have had conversations. I grew up very humble. We didn't have a lot of money, and that probably has shaped me and how I feel about people in my adult life. I don't care. Status means absolutely nothing to me. I don't care what job you do, how much money you make. I care about what kind of human being you are and how you make other
Same.
people feel. So for me, when I'm looking for a man, I'm looking for somebody that makes you feel respected, wanted. Obviously, all those things aren't going to happen at first. And like I said, having teenagers and young adults and trying to give them advice on pursuing relationships, I can tell you, I don't know if I want to tell this story. One of my sons, I'm not going to give names or specifics. One of my sons, a girl that he was talking to, she wrote him and was like, where are you taking me, like blah blah blah, and was being very specific, and they hadn't even like gone on a date yet, and he blocked her like on everything. And I was like, I almost said his name. You didn't have to block her. You could have explained to her, like, and he was like, no.
And that's how a man should react, because they're not looking they're not looking at you just for your looks at that point, obviously. Yeah. So you should respect them by not looking at just their money.
And my thing is, like, sorry, ladies, I'm not bashing ladies at all. I'm bashing this BS advice that's been given to
we're
ladies.
bashing them. We're bashing the bad ones.
The bad advice ladies. That's what I'm going to call them. A man can pay for a beautiful escort.
Easily. And guess what? They don't even have to buy them dinner.
They can take them to a nice dinner.
They don't have to buy them gifts.
They can buy them gifts if they want to. I know there's some escorts that are put up by their men, and they get taken care of very well. The men are guaranteed that they're going to get what they want. Like, they pay money. It's a transaction.
And how does that make it any different? Like, how are you any different than an escort if you are only in it for the materialistic things? How?
I don't know, because I feel like there's escorts that have probably fallen in love or developed feelings for the guys that...
There's escorts that don't even have to sleep with them. That makes if you are the person that's in it for just the materialistic things, you are an escort at that point.
Alicia said it.
I sure did.
Alicia said it.
It's not my fault. I'm sorry, but if
it's
you
a
are
transactional relationship,
and if you are that crappy of a person, you deserve the truth. And
Mhm.
that's the truth.
And that's what, so to wrap this up, because I feel like we could go on and on about it, because I'm telling you, my kids probably, they think I'm a psycho because they'll hear me in my bedroom where I'm like yelling at my phone.
I can
Because
picture
I get
you
so
talking to
upset.
yourself.
I'm like, what did you just say? Like, that is the worst advice I have ever heard in my life. Like,
I don't get any of these videos. My videos are all, I mean, I send them to you. They're all like political or like comedy.
but these, like, you have legit, like, women asking you for advice, and this, we give advice on here, kind of. I'm not trying to give harmful advice to anybody. Like,
but even like our advice is very generic. It's
it
not.
is.
It's honestly like
we're talking more about
I want to share my experience and if it
how
helps,
we've handled stuff.
And if it helps somebody, great. If not, at least you know that we all have struggles.
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you if you're like, hey, Heather and Felicia, so my man lost his job. Should I break up with him? I'm sorry, I'm not going to be the one to be like, oh, break up with him. Go find you a man that's a provider. Like,
no, I'm going to ask for more context.
You out for advice, and you are giving them advice as if these men aren't even people, but they're just a wallet. You know, that's what they're there for, is the money. So, like I was saying, to wrap this up, because you will get me on my soapbox. I will keep going about this for hours.
She didn't even give us enough examples.
I wish I could think of all of them. I'm telling you, the examples are harmful because I get so pissed when they're like, oh, I gave you the example of her saying, you shouldn't just have one man. What if he loses his job? That's why you're supposed to have Joe paying your car payment and Harry over here is paying your mortgage. And that way, if like Joe loses his job, you can put somebody else in that spot because Harry's still paying your mortgage and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, my God, now we're not only using one man for his money, but we're juggling multiple men for money.
I'm sorry, but I mean, it's been a long time since I've been single, but I was very young when I was single, and I did not borrow money from people. I sure as heck would not have let a dude pay my mortgage.
Not let him. Tell
Request
him. Hey, I need you to cover my mortgage. I need you to cover. She's like, if a man, whoever makes more money, he can cover the bigger bills. And the ones that make less money, if he's, what works wherever, he could still cover your utility bill.
No. See, when me and Justin moved in together, everything was 50-50. Mm-hmm. And then when we got married, we got the joint bank account. And now everything's just all in one. Yeah. But, like, there is no way I would have let him just pay all the bills. Like, obviously, if one of us lost.
Paying one of your bills, but you having multiple men that you're giving your time and attention to.
Girl, I got it. One's enough. I don't have the patience for too many.
Listen, Harry, it shows that you haven't paid my electric bill. What do you mean? I pay your cell phone bill. Oops.
Can you imagine just juggling? Yeah.
No.
Like, why?
No. That seems like more work than you just working and paying.
Yeah, I'd rather have a 9 to 5.
And also, I could be wrong, but I feel like if a man's paying your bills, he feels like there's probably something in exchange for that. And you're having multiple men
in exchange
pay your bills. So
gross. Slut alert.
So we're gonna wrap up this episode.
It's right.
We're gonna wrap up this
Sorry,
episode.
I don't have any friends like this, and there's a reason, because I wouldn't be nice.
I can't. I'm telling you right now, like, I've never had a friend. Respect it, and I think it is partially because I've never been that way. My dad is one of the most hardworking, admirable men. I have so much respect and love for that man. And my dad was never wealthy by world standards, but my dad gives the most incredible love. Anybody in his life is lucky to have it. So for me to now be raising young men and think that that's how they could be being judged is by what they have to offer instead of the man that they are, it's despicable.
And it's not even like you're just raising men. You're raising that too, but you're raising good men. Mm-hmm. And the world that we're living in, there is not enough of them.
I know.
And there's not enough good women either.
And
That's
I don't
why
want to see
my
them
circle is
taken
you.
advantage. Yeah. And you don't want to see the good ones taken advantage of to where they turn into the bad ones.
Right.
So that's my soapbox, you guys. I really wanted to talk about it just because I feel like I'm telling you, in the past couple weeks, I've seen so many come up. And I think it's because I watch them. I'm like, what? So the more they pop up, I'm like, oh my God, this is so stupid, and then they're popping up more. But I was like, we're going to talk about this on a podcast. I don't know who's going to watch it. I don't know if anybody will agree, but I felt like I needed to put my stamp out there because you guys are giving bullshit advice to young women and young men, and I think it's disgusting. And I think that if you're choosing a partner based off of the finances that a man can bring you, or men strictly for the way a woman looks, both of those things can change in an instant. So,
And if it's a trigger, you might want to change your,
sorry,
So, sorry, not sorry. But that's it. We're messy on purpose.
Messy,
Bye, guys.
really messy on purpose.
Really messy. Bye.